Thank you, Mark.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So Jeff Kraus, our chair, could not be here. Frank Edelman, our other vice chair, could not be here. So as second vice chair, I'm going to run the meeting. Carolyn Luz is our secretary. She unfortunately could not make it. So Mark is going to do our minutes. We have a quorum, 7 people. Everybody have an agenda?
Yep.
There's some extras if anybody needs it. Now, in the interest of time, I'm just going to work through the agenda. We don't have any minutes from the prior meeting, and I don't think there were any really because we just we elected officers for the year. I think that was really the only thing to report. I don't think there were any minutes to be approved. If there are, we'll take them up at a future meeting. So the first and the main item to discuss tonight is a request from the Board of Selectmen to approve a $27,000 appropriation for updating the property and topographical survey of Great Island. Jeff was kind enough to put together what I thought was a really good summary. I don't know if everybody's had a chance to look at that. Most importantly was the two really just short snippets of the Board of Finance meeting and the Board of Selectmen meeting where they went through a discussion of why we need to update the survey. I'll just throw it out to the group. Did everybody have a chance to see that? And if they have, then maybe what we could do is I'll take a motion to approve this, and then we'll open up for discussion and take it from there. So do I have a motion to approve this $27,000 appropriation?
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay. Rolf and Stephen. Just if you've had a chance to review it, the one thing that confused me about this was that I thought that when the Great Island, the next step in the Great Island opening up access was not only to do 23A, which is the road in, but also to then gain, add parking and all of that. Apparently the parking was not included in that appropriation. As I recall, it's like $3.5 million is what was appropriated to do the, does that sound right?
23A.
23A.
23A. So what was not included in that was any appropriation for the parking.
Really, anything beyond 23A.
Yeah.
Access
right.
was not.
So it's only up to the circle.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Effectively.
Yeah.
So this appropriation is really intended to update the topographical map. Really the hardscape, this is the way I understand it, the hardscape beyond that, which will encompass about 17 acres of the roughly 60-acre compound. So, and this is, Craig Flaherty suggested that we move this forward sooner than later to speed things along. And so I sent a note. I didn't realize that this was just for the parking, or this was, that parking was not included in the $3.5 million. So the first selectman sort of agreed with that, although the Board of Finance sounded a little confused about whether the $27,000 was included in the previous appropriation. So there's some little I won't say back channeling, but internal discussion about exactly where this $27,000 should come from and whether or not this is actually redundant, this appropriation. The Board of Finance, I got an indication that if this is redundant, they'll simply kick this back if it's approved by the RTM, which sounds a little wonky to me, but.
So the question is, was it included in that $3.5 million appropriation before?
First Selectman doesn't think so.
Yeah.
Board of Finance doesn't know.
Okay.
So the belt and suspenders approach is, let's approve it, be totally transparent about it, and let the chips fall where they may. The new Director of Finance, is it Brad Kaufman?
Kaufman.
I think is still getting his feet under him to figure out exactly where all the chips fall.
Yeah, I'm not sure when they last had a meeting where he's put out, an update to all of the different accounts. But I would think that they are tracking the Gray Island financially.
Yeah.
And Baumgarten ran that meeting for the approval.
Right.
And he said that he
Board
knew
of
that
Finance.
there was about $700,000 from the original funding that was notated as access. So I think they're going to backtrack later on and go through all of that and try and reconcile where that's at. And then, yeah, they'll adjust for the 27,000.
Yeah.
But I'd like to, the next time they put out another update on all that, I'm going to definitely look at it because we're into this now, what, 2 years at least since the purchase, going on 3?
No, it's more than 2, yeah.
Yeah, it's almost 3.
Yeah, it's almost 3.
So I think, because they're going to have to start to bond this coming April for what they have not yet bonded. And that's, I think, some 40-some odd $1 million. So they need to have that really in good order before they go out
Yeah.
to the bond market.
And I'm sure they will. I think the Board of Finance usually has their act together before they.
On the park benches and tables and stuff, did they go through all of that funding?
That's already been approved, and a lot of them.
Did they use up all that funding?
I don't think so. I think to Rolf's point, there's from what I heard, there's still about 700,000 left, although we're missing sort of an accounting, not missing, but I don't think there's been an update to the accounting in a while. So I just found it a little weird that they couldn't find 27 grand to do a survey, but whatever. I mean, this is, trying to be overly transparent. I think it's probably the right thing to do. But
That might be at the heart of it, is whether or not
Yeah.
it's funding available is almost secondary. I'd like to confirm, but I think that's.
yeah, what I don't want is
Yeah, because
approving
what they-
another 27
Yeah.
on top of the 700 that we've got sitting around now. We've just had redundant funding. So
Exactly.
as long as there's an agreement that,
Yeah.
hey, if it's redundant, we'll kick it back.
And does the 27 cover the entire property
No.
or just the parking,
No.
proposed parking?
No,
area?
I'll read precisely. The area of focus for the survey includes the westerly third of the island from the cul-de-sac, including the 2 causeways and hardscape up to and including the greenhouse, boathouse, and stables, and the trees and land areas just west of the polo field. The scope also includes the location of underground utilities within the limits of the survey to be performed through a private utility tracing subcontractor.
That's also included in the 27,000.
Yep. But I think the main impetus to this is to try and get a jump for time.
Yeah, because it's going to take about 2 months
Yeah.
to do it, or probably a little bit
Yeah.
longer. So if they can do that over the winter when, we don't use the good weather to do something that could be done during the winter, I think that's the idea here. Any other questions?
Any other discussion?
Should we vote?
I would think so.
Okay. All in favor of by the way, there's no item number yet. We haven't seen the
For the resolution?
resolution,
Yeah,
so.
I actually, rules had it. I'll put it in here. I have it.
Oh, perfect, okay. So, all in favor of the appropriation? Opposed? Abstentions? Unanimous. Okay, that was easy. I think in our last meeting, Jeff went through and asked everybody's, what their preference for well, he's got them labeled here as topic areas. I think we agreed focus areas in past committee meetings.
I think that was before my time.
Okay,
Yeah, I think for the new
Yeah.
people, maybe we just give a little dissertation on why we have focus areas and what their role is in the committee.
sure.
That'd be helpful.
Well, from memory, I put down, and I'm just going to go through in order under number 4 here of the agenda, town buildings and land. Patrick, I think I had you on that.
Yeah, that was,
Is that?
I believe that was correct,
Do you
yeah.
want to continue on that?
Yeah.
Okay. The sewer commission, I think Frank Edelman has,
He's our sewer guy.
Yeah,
He's our sewer
he's been
guy.
for like a decade.
yeah, so, but Ralph, I had put you down, but,
I saw that.
and this was purely by
Aspiring
memory,
sewer
so.
guy?
Yeah, yeah.
So is that wrong?
Sewer guy in training.
So is that wrong?
No, I'm willing to do that only for the fact of the involvement in the last
Yeah,
session.
okay.
And how that went. I definitely want to continue on.
Yeah,
and
well, let's.
carry that through.
Yeah, so let's,
Why wouldn't? You want
Yeah, no, I can't get enough abuse, okay?
You did take a bit of a,
You know, I
Well,
need more.
to Sarah's point, and for Stephen as well, the focus areas, so town buildings and land are really just keeping track of what these focus areas do is we divide and conquer, and Patrick, and I think in the past I've done that as well, where you try and stay on top of topics and issues that are affecting these specific areas and bring them to the attention of the committee and keep us all up to speed in terms of all the workings of the public works.
So, for example, the town buildings and land, that's actually quite a lot, okay? Because if you really think about all the different buildings, the Public Works building, the Police Department building, the Town Hall building, Great Island, which is a property owned by the town, which
Yep.
is under our purview.
Highland Farm.
Highland Farm,
But there's no
same
buildings,
thing.
Yeah.
but there's
No
land.
buildings, but there's land.
There's things that come up.
And there is maintenance involved there, okay? Not a lot of maintenance, but some. And so if you really think of all of that together, it's a bit more significant than it just looks like on a couple of words on a piece of paper, okay?
Yeah, there's quite a bit to keep track of. And the other thought process in a number of these, although not all of them, is that there might be, or there likely is, a commission or another committee which we need to coordinate with to make sure that we're all sort of, reading from the same chapter. So, for example, the sewer commission, it's really the sewer, this probably should be relabeled sewer infrastructure, and we'll liaise with the sewer commission to keep up to speed. So in the last legislative session, we were talking about the sump pump ordinance, and there's been, Ralph, and to a lesser degree, I got involved toward the latter part of it to try and get that coordinated to make sure that, now that got tabled, and so that'll probably come up again. So that'll come under the sewer commission and that area. The coastal waters, that group or that topic area will coordinate with the environmental, there's the coastal commission.
The coastal, yeah.
And the EPC for anything having to do with coastal waters. And that also overlays, it all gets a little complicated with Great Island and Parks and Rec and all that because they're all on the coast. So, or not all, but many of them are on the coast. The recycling facility, so in last session and actually prior sessions, we've had quite a bit of conversation about the dump. We always talk about the dump and our waste management and also in the swap shop and how we can improve on that. So whoever volunteers for that focus area would also coordinate with those groups and just keep us up to speed on what's happening because we don't really have purview over those areas.
If I may
Drainage
add,
and flood.
that also, and you may have already covered it and I just didn't hear, we have the group that is involved with the, Committee on Sustainability for the town, okay? And they work in concert with the group that's involved with the county on these kinds of efforts, okay? I forget what the acronym for that group is. And so just recently, they received another award for us as a town qualifying for all the various criteria of sustainability. There are different levels. I think they went up one level, actually, and received it. Okay, and that occurred within the last several months.
Yeah, I remember seeing
And
that.
so that's also related to that particular,
Is that Westcog they're dealing with?
yeah, Westcott,
Yeah,
thank you.
Draining and flooding, Ralph, you want to explain that?
Well, the main thing there is, we have two major projects that are in the process of development. There's the saltwater not salt.
Salt box.
Salt box project that runs along Post Road north, up, and across from
The Y.
the YMC. Well, actually, it's a little bit
A little closer, yeah.
closer than from the Y. And that all drains out into Holly Pond. Okay, and that's a whole drainage project that I hope they'll have the plans ready and to go out to bid. I'm hoping for sometime this year. I don't think they'll be able to start work this year, but I'm hoping to be able to have the plans
No, I
ready.
think it's a
and go for bid
2027
this
project.
year. But yeah, I think in terms of actual work, it would fall into the following year. So that's a major undertaking. And then the other one is the drainage project for downtown Darien, with the drainage that's going to run from Tilly Pond underneath the railroad tracks and then through downtown and out to Goodwives River. Okay, so those are the two major projects. But beyond that, I mean, there's a number of drainage issues throughout the whole town, okay, because just in the nature of the topography and the geological makeup of this area that we live in, because it's shallow. It doesn't, that we don't have a deep water table, and so water comes up rather easily when there's a heavy rain. And of course, that then translates into flooding and all that happy activity, okay? So that would certainly be part of it. I know that there is another initiative that's going on with the Board of Selectmen to formulate another committee to study the idea of formulating a conservation, possibly a conservation commission, and to have involvement with a number of different areas, but certainly drainage would be part of that. Okay, and that's just in the beginning stages of being, and even the exploratory committee is not actually going to be the commission. They're just going to analyze, you know, what are the feasibilities of a commission, what would it do, and where would it go, how much power would it have
Yeah, what his
per
mandate
se.
would be, and,
Right,
you know.
that sort of thing. So it's very much in the baby stages, but it's definitely something I think we would want to watch.
There's a big
and
debate
be
over whether or
aware
not
of.
it should become a commission, in
Right.
which case it would
Right.
have
You know,
commission authority as opposed, because our Parks and Rec Commission has different authority than the Board of Selectmen. Then, just like the Board of Education has different authority than the Board of Selectmen or the Board of Finance. So there's going to be a big debate about how much authority, should it just be advisory, should it be a full-fledged commission? So that's been, but that's a little bit away from the drainage and the flooding.
Can I just
Yeah.
ask the stupid rookie question?
Sorry.
What are the best means, or how do you ingratiate yourself, if you will, with these various town officials, the guys in the public works? I mean, how do you essentially stay on top of this? I mean, you know, reading the Darien patch isn't going to be enough.
No.
You know, I'm
No,
sorry
Darien
to be so
patch.
simplistic, but
It varies.
let me throw it out there.
It varies. So some of these, like sewer commission meets regularly. The schedule's published. You can watch it on video, or you can go and, those tend to be during the day.
Yeah, they're at 4:30 on
Yep.
the first, I think it's the first Tuesday of every month.
Yep. Another one that's easy, not easy, but is scheduled is finance, the budget. The Board of Selectmen meet regularly on it. In fact, the budget season's starting now, right, basically.
I think the next Board of Selectmen meeting, the town administrator is going to put forth
Which is the same night as the RTM.
her recommendation
Yep.
for the upcoming budget.
So that one, they publish a schedule. Most of those meetings are recorded. Some of these others, it's somewhat more hit or miss. It's when they pop up on the Board of Selectmen agendas.
But-
Something related to these items. Coastal
Yeah.
waters, they meet regularly, don't they?
They meet regularly.
Yes, they
meet
do.
regularly.
But, I mean, your key resource really should be, first, the town website.
Yep.
Because, you know, they have a calendar, and all of these meetings are in the calendar.
Yep.
And then your second resource, certainly for me, is TV 79.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because if I can't watch the meeting live
Yep.
per se,
Yep.
and because TV 79 doesn't always broadcast them live, I can always pick it up off the website.
And the agendas are all on there too.
Yeah,
which
the
is
agendas
helpful.
are attached there, minutes from prior meeting. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of information there, and that is definitely the go-to source for information. If you want to start to interface with some of these organizations, that's something else I think, would be good,
I think,
for you to.
I mean, it seems
Most-
like you guys have been doing this a while. You've got a good network within town hall and within the different committees. But it takes time to build that.
Not really.
Not-
I mean,
not-
everybody's very open
Yeah.
to, I mean, this is an amazing town in a lot of ways. People are very friendly. They'll take any visitor to any meeting that's open to the public. You may not always be able to speak or ask questions, but oftentimes you will. It depends on, how complex the topic is. But for the most part, most people are incredibly open to helping and answering your questions. And they actually, I haven't had anybody say that, that you're not welcome or, so it's as much as you want to make of it, quite honestly. And the deeper you want to dive in, have at it.
Yep, all of these items are discussed in public meetings, public forums. The challenging part when you're first starting is unless it's one of these major topics that have regular committees that track it, it's kind of hit or miss when something's going to come up on the Board of Selectmen are discussing it. Well, once you're aware of it, once it's something they're talking about, then they usually mention when they're going to talk about it again and who they're going to refer it to, and then you go track those committees. So some of these, like a new bridge repair, we may all be caught flat-footed until we actually hear about it.
There is one coming
Yeah.
up.
There's
Yeah,
no-
I saw that one on.
Camp Ave.
Camp
Board
Avenue.
of Selectmen were talking, I think it was on the Board of
They
Selectmen
might have
agenda.
been. I-
It's on the Board of Selectmen agenda.
Is
That's
it-
a good place to look.
Camp over what?
The Board of Selectmen agenda tends
Well,
to
on
be a page
Camp
or
Avenue,
two, covers everything they're going to
There's a
talk about.
bridge
Yeah.
that you
Yeah, and I
cross
tend
over.
to
Hold on,
glance
You
at
go
it.
from
Hold on, one at a
Darien
time.
to
Sorry,
Stamford.
hold on.
So I tend to glance at the Board of Selectmen agenda. Anything piques my interest, all right, then I make a point of going either watch it live, which is rare, or watch it on 79.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Good to know.
So it's,
or just reach out to one of us and say,
Yeah.
hey, how do I get up to speed on this, or is there somebody? So it's, don't feel that you're
But it's
not.
not- I've been in town long enough, I know my way around the block, but it's
Yeah.
just that,
Yeah.
the more
No,
finite
it's a-
details here.
It's a very
How
inviting.
to do it efficiently, basically, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I would recommend also that you make sure that the chairmen are aware of if you're going to try and go to a meeting or you want to try and meet up with certain people during the meeting, make them aware that that's your interest and intent. They might be able to help you get an introduction so that you're not going in completely cold.
Yeah.
that's actually the proper, I think, protocol.
Yeah, I agree.
If you're going to, like, meet with the committee or a meeting.
We've had members in the past, not necessarily this committee, but I'm thinking of two committees specifically that have shown up at meetings claiming to represent the committee that they're there as a member of,
Yeah.
when in fact that's not really the case. So, yes, I think that the proper thing to do is, hey, Jeff, reach out to Jeff and say, hey, I'm interested in going to the, whatever, the Board of Finance meeting. Well, Board of Finance you can show up because it's a public meeting, but if you wanted to interface with one of them.
Oh, so you go through our chairman?
Yeah.
first? Yeah, okay. no.
Especially if you want to
Patrick.
interface with a
Jeff.
town official.
Yeah.
But to interface directly
Yeah,
with somebody and
staff.
talk about a
Yeah.
topic, most people are open to it. I mean, they don't want to spin wheels, everybody's only got limited time, so.
Or repeat. You come in and ask about it, then he
Yeah,
goes in
then
and
5
asks
other
about
people
it,
show
and
up,
Rolf
yeah.
goes in and asks about it.
Right.
It's like as a committee, we like to coordinate, all right, you're going to go talk to him about, the bridge on
Right,
Camp
which is
Avenue.
why we have these focus areas, to
Yeah.
make sure that we've got one main
least
person
one.
that's involved, that is the starting point.
Can I ask where you need people? Or are there ones that aren't filled?
Yeah.
Obviously, there.
Yeah,
So-
we're going to go through it.
Nothing's
filled right now.
Nothing's
Oh,
filled.
got it.
Well,
Everything's up for grabs.
very few
You have some preliminary fulfillment.
that are on
Okay.
that sheet, Mark.
Oh, is that why you handed it?
Well, no, I just wanted you to make sure you knew everybody was here, that's all.
Yep, that was helpful, thank you.
So, I don't think anybody, I know of a few, which is the only few that I've written down on this attendance sheet. So, I don't think we have anybody on coastal waters. I don't think we have anybody on the recycling. Although Caroline might have been assigned to that, I just don't have that list. Drainage and flooding, dams, bridges, and infrastructure, including Great Island.
Well, I know, Rich, I think you were involved in the past with the dam, bridges, and that sort of thing, infrastructure.
Roads and parking. So if you want to work on a specific area, just
Just write your name right.
write your name right
Right next to
Put
your
your name
name.
right in there.
See, you get a huge advantage by being here tonight.
That's right.
Yeah, you get
Yeah,
to pick.
Well, the drainage and flooding, I'm interested possibly because, well, our house was flooded in Hurricane Sandy down in Norton Bank. And it's, my district. So that could be potentially, but I don't have a lot of knowledge about any of that stuff. I
okay.
can come up to speed, but I don't know if that's a hindrance or not.
That doesn't stop most people.
No, actually, that oftentimes a fresh look is
Yeah.
very helpful.
Yep.
I think most of these are self-explanatory. The sidewalks and pedestrian, as Rolf mentioned earlier, that's going to become, a big topic this year again, and it's been a favorite topic of ours now for 3 years. And I'll just make reference to, it doesn't all have to emanate from the Board of Selectmen or the Board of Finance or the Board of Education on down. The pedestrian infrastructure, that's one where we've been raising our voices about pedestrian infrastructure and have actually now started to get other people's attention about it. So most committees in the RTM operate, Board of Selectmen send the topic down and it gets, sorted through. In this case, we're sort of kicking it upstairs to say, this one needs your attention. So, and I'll just mention that town plan of conservation development, that would require interface with the PZ&H committee, which is Planning, Zoning, and Housing, as well as the Planning and Zoning Commission. So there's a lot going on.
That was
Yeah.
supposed to be done, at least in first draft form, if you will, by the end of December. And I know that they had a meeting
It is.
and did have a discussion with how far the consultant had progressed with it. But I think there's still more work going on there. I don't think they have it in a final.
It's due
version.
year-end 2026. So by the end of this legislative year, the RTM has to approve it. All of the main committees, commissions actually have to approve it because they all have been put into it. So, and that's state mandated. So we have met with them and we have provided some input. But it's, to Rolf's point, it's not a done deal yet. So that's a brief description. If there are areas that you want to sign up for, and it doesn't have to be just one. If you'd like, if you're interested in more than one, feel free.
Do we have that list of whatever was discussed last time, or?
I don't. So that's why
What's this?
it was pure guesswork for me as I wrote that
Oh,
up.
that was guess, okay.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
I think it was it in the email that Jeff sent?
No.
Well, the areas are there, but not who's assigned.
I mean, I have
Oh, I
last year's iteration, some of the
Do
folks
you?
are
There you
gone.
go.
Oh, you do?
Handwritten, but yeah.
Oh, Mr. Organization, go on.
Well,
Go
no,
for
just
it.
Mr. Neglect to clean out my binder here, but. So Finance and Budget was Mark and Jeff. Land and Buildings was Mark and myself. Coastal was Vinny, and I have TBD. I don't remember who was on that with him, if
Yeah,
anybody.
Benny's not on the committee.
Benny's not on the
Benny's
committee
so
anymore, so that.
busy and-
that-
Coastal Waters is open.
That's open. Then I have sewer, which we've all discussed as Frank. Drainage and flooding was Ian and I, but I'm happy to bequeath that to.
Oh, no, if you want.
No. But you're
It's a big
welcome to.
enough topic.
Yeah. And I don't know if Ian's still with us, right? He's just not here tonight.
Yeah, he just couldn't make it tonight.
Okay, so I guess we should ask him if he wants
Mhm.
to rebid on that. Recycling's open. Eric was on that, he's gone. Roads and sidewalks was Patrick and Frank.
Yep. And I think we agreed, Frank and I are both going to do that.
Okay, and then Rich had dams and bridges, which is now called, I don't know what, dams, bridges, and infrastructure. So I don't know if that's of continued interest or not. And that's all I got.
Was the transfer station on there?
That was Eric Galaris, but I feel like Paige was on that, but that was 2 years ago?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that was 2 years
Yeah,
ago.
that
she
was,
was-
that was
she
a
was
number
swap
of years
shop,
ago.
too.
Yeah.
She's been off the committee for a number of
Okay,
years.
so I guess Eric was the designee last year.
So the bottom
He's
line
also
is
gone.
that If there's an area of interest, just pick it.
Okay.
Well, I think Carolyn
From that list
also-
or,
Yeah,
Environmental.
but those are the
Last
areas
year
we
got
generally
involved
cover.
with the
For the swap shop.
transfer station,
Yeah.
swap shop, sustainability.
Yeah, this isn't highly structured, it's just someone cover the stuff.
And it's actually outside of the mandate as you read what the Public Works Committee's mandate is. This is just, we as a working group have said, this is the right way to organize. So it's not structurally part of the,
Yeah, what happens if everybody's covering everything? Nobody covers anything.
Right.
I would be maybe interested in coastal, but I don't, if someone wants to
Yeah.
wrestle me for that, I can be taken down.
I'm on, I already picked mine, I'm done.
I think pedestrian infrastructure is going to take me enough, I think.
I was looking at either coastal or roads and parking.
But we typically have more than one, so
Yeah,
don't,
so-
Yeah. They're not exclusive.
yeah.
I'm just going to go back to the,
Agenda?
no, to the recycling, and just make a sort of a side comment. I hadn't really, so I never kept track of all of the food waste. And just on a whim, about 6 months ago, I started separating out food waste. I don't know if everybody does it
Yeah.
or anybody does it. I have to tell you, I have been shocked and amazed at the amount of food waste that two of us, and then when the girls are home, how much food waste we actually generate. And it's been a remarkable, not only eye-opening experience, but also the regular trash is not as stinky. But I just have to say, I never thought I would do that, but just out of whim, I did it. So you might want to try it. It's actually very,
So we've mostly been doing it. What the problem we have is the stuff goes in the garage in the larger receptacle.
yep.
And it reeks, and you have to get rid of it like
Yeah, you can't let it sit
regularly.
too long.
And then in the summertime, especially when you go to the dump to empty that,
Yeah.
it's stomach turning.
Yeah, well, especially
gotta
when you
do it
open the
frequently.
bin.
Yeah.
Yeah, you open the bin to put it in.
Oh yeah, and
Oh, yeah.
you see things you can't unsee.
Yeah.
So
We've spoken to Ed about that
if there's a way to
in
make
previous
it,
meetings, and he keeps saying,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
it's fine.
trying to look into it, nah.
It's fine.
But it hasn't changed.
I just think it's really interesting.
I think it's a great idea, and we'll probably get back to doing.
And we
more.
actually make a lot of money, I mean, in quotes, but a lot of money on that food waste. It's our most profitable line item when it comes to recycling.
Oh, because of the compost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry to take us off track. I don't think we have specific reports on any of these areas. I think we've sort of touched on a bunch of it. Unless there's anything that anybody else wants to bring up that's of import. We started talking about the Camp Ave Bridge. That's just one thing that was just popped up from the Board of Selectmen. So we'll hear more about that. I have no idea how much that's going to cost, but when we were doing the Hanson Road Bridge, and just observing and keeping track of that, and ultimately that's going to end up as a budget line. So we wanted to make sure that we understood what was going on with that. That turned into a much bigger project than we anticipated. I don't know anything about the Camp Ave Bridge. I don't even know where it is.
Well, that's why I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt the meeting before, but I was just asking Rolf. 'Cause
Yeah, it's-
I'm on Camp Avenue all the time. I don't know where that bridge
I don't know
is.
where that
As you cross out of, or as you leave Darien on Camp Avenue.
Oh,
and you go
across the
on
railroad
second,
tracks.
You go, I think it's
Past
just
the
past the
railroad
railroad
track.
tracks.
Okay, I
There's
get
a
it
very
now.
small bridge. If you didn't know to look for it, you probably wouldn't see it.
I know where it is.
But just past Springdale Nursery?
Yeah.
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 There? Yeah.
And that's up for, I think they're going to start to draft a design
Design.
at this point,
Yeah.
okay? And so that'll take quite a bit of time in itself. And then when they come up with an acceptable design and approved design, then we move on from there. So I think most of the year will be busy just with design.
Yeah, this will be a 2 to 3 year project.
Yeah, just like Hanson was,
Yeah.
which
They're
that was
not
another
gonna
one, nobody
close.
was a bridge until
Yeah.
you saw it.
Can they close camp on the way to Stanford though? Because that's
Well,
everybody's favorite way
let's
to get
wait
to
till the-
Stanford.
Let's wait then.
Well, you start that side street that you can cut around.
Oh, you make the
Oh,
right.
Greenwood.
and then-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, I'm
yeah.
sure the residents. will
For
love
2
that.
years, can
I
you
was just
imagine?
gonna say they're gonna love that.
Anything else
Well, I'd just like to give an update about the sewer commission,
Fire
since
away.
I'm supposedly now part of.
Sewer guy in training.
I'm like the, yeah, I'm like the sewer guy in training. They had a meeting just this week, and I'll forward on the link for the meeting to everybody, because there was, on the agenda was a definite specific discussion about their progress in getting prepared and ready to come back to the RTM relative to the illicit sump pumps. And so if I heard it correctly, and I think I did, they are close to where they would want to return back to the RTM, first to the various different committees during the course of February, and then try and get it on the agenda for the February RTM meeting.
Okay.
Okay, so that's coming up. The other thing I'd like to report on is that traditionally, we've always met with Mr. Gentile every February, as I recall. And we had the early September budget discussion, and so that kind of makes a February meetup kind of moot.
Redundant.
But I still think it would be beneficial to get caught up with Ed about, what he's got going on in terms of other major projects. For example, there's the intersection project on Norotan Avenue and Ledge Road, okay?
Is that moving forward?
Well, apparently they have made some progress where they are close.
That was an easement issue, I think.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
there was a huge hang-up on easements.
Wait, hold on, back up.
And
What's the issue at Ledge and?
Well, there's,
That was part of the whole Norotan intersection traffic study and.
right,
It was related to the West Ave
Yeah.
project?
The whole thing, that whole area.
So it all
West
goes down,
Ave,
all the way down to Ledge?
The ledge.
I guess
Yeah,
I'd lost track.
because
Okay.
if you have an opportunity to be on Ledge Road at the right time during the day,
Oh, it's all backed up.
yeah, it's way backed up.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to work it out so that there can be a separate right-hand turn lane,
Oh, okay.
okay, which is the majority reason
Coming
as to why.
Right in
west
front of
on,
Jake's.
west on Ledge.
Going,
Right in front of
going,
Jake's.
yeah, going in a westerly direction, so you can make that turn on Norotan Avenue and not hold up
That's
everybody
Ledge
else,
Road,
okay.
okay? And that's a big bottleneck.
Right in front of Jake's place.
Bingo,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't take exit 10 because it's a mess.
okay.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing, even though we're not gonna have a budget discussion per se, but there are projects like that. The drainage projects, I'd love to get an update from him about how that's progressing with Salt Box, and then, of course, the design work that's going on for downtown Darien, et cetera, et cetera. So I'd like to suggest that we have another meeting with the guy.
Well, what I think to the extent that Ed's got the time to do it, I think it'd be great. I think
Yeah.
what would be more effective,
Mm-hmm.
or might be effective, I should say, is to develop a list of questions.
Certainly.
Instead of, trying to,
Yeah, yeah,
20 questions, just say,
Yeah.
hey, look, here are the topics we'd like to run through. Invariably,
yeah.
there will be other topics.
That's what I did last year.
Yeah, and I think,
And I gave it to Jeff because I couldn't make it to that meeting.
yeah.
And he found it, and I gave it to Ed in advance.
Yeah, no,
So-
we have to.
So, yeah, that worked out fine.
All right, well, we'll mention that to the chair and see if he wants to coordinate with Ed to see if everybody thinks that that's a good
Yeah,
idea.
I think a coordinated list through the chair to Ed is probably the better
Yeah.
way to go.
Yeah, because he's always very generous with his time, and,
Yeah, I think it's going to be more a matter of, where he will have the time, because he's, I think, getting spread more thin every day, because he had another person in his department retire just recently. His name is Tony.
Oh, Tony retired?
Tony retired.
Yep. And so
That's not good.
he's
That's
now
Good for
trying to
him.
carry on with the department with a position that's completely vacated.
Right.
Okay, apparently he didn't have the opportunity to do an overlap interview, so he had a replacement online when Tony retired. So he's
Wasn't Tony looking after?
He's
After
on
Great
Great
Island.
Island.
yeah, he was the guy who was spearheading
Well-
with the Great Island.
Okay, I mean, that's manageable.
No, it wasn't all he did.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know, but Tony spent a significant amount of his time the last 2 years organizing and getting Great Island.
The other thing I'd like to bring up is, and I mentioned this earlier, but we weren't all here together in the room, so I'm going to be repetitive, is that the Board of Selectmen has voted to start to put together a charge for a sidewalk advisory committee. Okay, and this is related to the pedestrian infrastructure safety initiative that was actually from 10 years ago. But it's a much more focused and targeted approach to sidewalks, whereas the PIAC study covered numerous different things, cycling, lighting, signage, etc., as well as pedestrian safety and sidewalks. I had written a letter a while back, several months ago, to the Board of Selectmen when it became public during John Zagrodzky's campaign, which was unchallenged to run for re-election. But he did announce that he was going to be formulating this committee. And so I immediately sent a letter in and said, well, I think a member from the RTM should be on the committee. I received no response from that, nor was there any discussion in their meeting this week about that either. So apparently at this point, if an RTM member wants to go and apply when they're ready with the charge and to start to formulate the committee, I'm sure they can. But I don't see any intent from the Board of Selectmen of reaching out to the RTM to have a person from the RTM per se, as I had asked for, whatever, several months ago. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's in the works. Their agenda did not have any attachments about the charge, the scope, and Zagrodzky referred to this scorecard, if you will, that he has apparently formulated with the consultant that's going to be filled out for each and every potential area for an either added or new sidewalk in order to grade it as being something that's viable or maybe not, with a grading system. And so I think the scope and the actual sidewalks that are in the end going to come up for possibility will be very targeted and somewhat narrow, but certainly understandably, because we're not going to go pave the entire town of Darien with sidewalks. That's just not feasible. So that's in the works. I personally feel that the issue of pedestrian safety is kind of getting lost. And I understand his approach, but I think in the process, the overall subtopic of pedestrian safety, road safety, bicycle safety, because we have all these e-bikes now that are racing all around town, that a lot of that is just getting lost in what they're doing in this pursuit of this particular committee. I would like to pursue the idea of possibly, there's an organization out of Hartford that working in concert with the Connecticut Department of Transportation, and they've apparently, in response to the increase in pedestrian fatalities that the state has experienced overall, are going on an information campaign on various different aspects of road safety and sidewalk safety. And they're willing to give presentations, apparently. And I would like to pursue the idea of possibly asking them if they would be willing and interested to come to Darien and make a presentation, possibly in an RTM meeting. So I just wanted to throw that out and see if there was any, if you all felt that there was any merit to the idea, or if we just should just let things go as they are. But I wanted to bring that up tonight.
Okay, thanks for bringing that. Anybody else want to comment on that?
What would the point of the presentation be? Just education?
Yeah, it's more information, education, what to look out for when you're dealing with, children on the streets or a bicyclist on the street, or what's your responsibility as a pedestrian when you come to a crosswalk, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Just common sense kind of stuff. They also have a section that gives a pretty good explanation as to the new laws that have recently passed about electric bikes, e-bikes, because apparently these e-bikes, some of them are pretty pretty fast. And so they.
And heavy.
Okay.
Heavy.
Okay. And-
They're almost like motorcycles.
Yeah, well, that's part of what's in the law, that if you hit a certain number, quantity of wattage in the motor,
Yeah.
you're still considered an e-bike, but if you exceed that wattage, you're no longer considered an e-bike, you're considered a motorbike.
Right.
And you have to be registered, and you have to have, wear the proper helmet and that sort of thing that's required of anybody on a motorbike.
And I don't think anyone's adhering to that or even following up on it. We discussed this a little bit in public health and safety, one of our meetings last year.
Okay, how did that
And
go?
It was absolutely a concern. I mean, it was a concern from a safety point of view, and a lack of understanding when it comes to many of the parents who hear their kid wants, I want an e-bike for my birthday, and they get them something that's, like a small Harley Davidson. I may exaggerate, but, and that's largely down to education. I think the parents are thinking, I'm buying an e-bike, an e-bike's an e-bike. It's not.
Just have them spend the day in New York City.
Yeah.
It's true.
I deal with that every day.
Yeah.
I wonder, I understand, just my own opinion. I think it would be great to have a presentation, and any increase in education, primarily for the parents, but also for the kids, I think would be a step in the right direction. What I wouldn't want us to do is to encourage multiple channels of education and getting cross wires in terms of what this, until the first selectman comes out and says, here's what the mandate of this group is going to be. Not that sidewalks are by themselves. I thought it was going to be larger than just sidewalks. I thought it was going to include.
The only other thing he mentioned that they would cover is crossings,
Yeah.
but that the crossings would have to be subject to review with the legal traffic authority, which is the police commission.
Yeah. But my point is, I think having a holistic approach to how we're going to, as a town, approach this, and I think the first selectman certainly has gotten the idea in my few conversations with him about this whole issue has bubbled up and it's clearly on the radar. I think to then start inviting in other groups to not confuse the message, but
If he's going to address the, safety,
I'm just saying,
then
let me
he's
just
more than
finish.
welcome to get involved with it. But if he doesn't, and this is as narrow as it sounds like it is, then I am prepared to get someone else to address that issue, since they're not.
Well, you're free to do whatever you want.
Okay.
As a committee, though, I think I'd like to see what the first selectman comes up with.
That's fine,
And
but
then-
once it's
and then
clear,
take it from
then
there.
I think we need to make a determination as to that, whether that's adequate in the interest of pedestrian safety,
agree.
road safety,
That's
bike
fine.
safety, or not.
And I agree with both. I think it's important that the different entities within government be coordinated on
Yeah.
this.
Yeah,
And sponsorship come from multiple parts.
Yeah, and I don't think there's no harm of you introducing that into public safety and have them
Yep.
introduce that.
Well, that thought occurred to me as
That's
well, that
another-
it's really more a public safety issue than it
Yep.
is public works.
Yep.
But I don't know if they have the appetite.
Well, I think it's a great opportunity for public health and safety, the Board of Ed. These are all, they all cross wires at some point in maintaining, and I'm thinking mostly the kids and the e-bikes, but it goes beyond that. There's lots of bikes. There's a lot of pedestrians out on the roads. We got to turn this into a good, cohesive, all-encompassing program as best we can. And there are other towns that are doing this. We're all confronting the same kinds of issues. So I think Rolf and I have been on the receiving end of a couple of emails from a couple of different people about, that they want this effort to really get some legs and move forward. So I think that'll, that's well on its way to happen in 2026. I think it's incumbent on us to make sure that happens as well.
So when that meeting was held, was the chief of police at that particular meeting?
No,
Okay.
we discussed the chief of police's appearance on Channel 79 after he brought that up. So he'd already been on Channel 79 and gone through a bunch of things, including the electric bike situation and the safety there. And then it came up as a topic for discussion in our committee.
Okay, so it was a topic of discussion.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Ralph. Anybody else have anything else that they want to add?
One clarification, Ralph.
Mm.
The Saltbox project and the other one, the studies have been funded, the projects have not been funded, correct? In your description.
Projects have not been funded.
Right.
That is correct.
Yeah.
So, my understanding.
Your sequence.
Each time I get one of those quarterly reports, the percentage of completion of Saltbox seems to vary a bit. I thought that they were like 90% done with the design. Most recent one, if my memory serves me, they're saying 85% is done. So it seems to be kind of a moving target. Maybe they're finding different things. I was hoping that by now they would have been done, but that didn't happen.
Just wanted that clarification.
Yeah. They still are holding, they're still holding to 6.5 million
Yep.
as the estimate.
Okay.
Make a motion. Oh, you want a motion?
I'm just going to ask, I will, are there any new items or new business that's outside of these areas that are on the agenda? Okay.
Nothing I can think of.
With that, I'll accept the motion to adjourn. Richard?
I second.
Mark? All in favor? Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Miami's up 3.